Welcome to the SWAT. Hey. Hope you're all having a lovely Friday, January 3rd. Hope you all had a nice Thursday night. I did hit the under in Notre Dame, Georgia, as I'm sure most of you know. I did place a prop bet down on Riley Leonard that did not hit. And then I got the over in Ole Miss Duke. So nice. College football's been great to me last week or so. In fact, other than that first round of games, the wild card round or whatever they're calling it, the last round of the playoffs, bowl season as a whole has been very good to me, and this last week's been very good. So had the first round of the playoffs, I think I went 2-4 or something. But other than that, college football postseason has been kind to me. So hopefully that continues. We still got some action left, including a couple bowl games tonight. As far as this show, we got 2 college football games. Then we got some NBA to talk about. And then Tosa's going to come on and talk some college basketball. As for tomorrow, I think we're going to go live around 10:30 a.m. because there's a lot of college basketball action. We have scoops. You sent me a text about it, and I skimmed it. But there's a reason we need to start early. And no, there's only one. Because there's a bowl game at 11 a.m.
Yeah,
That's why.
So and there's a college basketball game 11 a.m. too.
A good one too. So you have a bowl game at 11 a.m. tomorrow, and then Kentucky, Florida also starts at 11 a.m. So we're going to start at 10:30. We'll do the bowl game first, and then we'll go into college basketball, and we'll start with Kentucky, Florida. That's the plan. So let's talk college football. North Texas against Texas State. I bet both these games. Full disclosure, if you didn't watch last night's video, I'm just gambling here. I don't know if anyone. It's going to be tough to find a particular edge in these two games with all the missing pieces, with all the question marks. So if you were looking for a night to take off in terms of betting college football, this wouldn't be a bad spot to do it. I took Texas State minus 13.5. There's a lot of rumors circulating as far as whether or not Jordan McCloud's going to play. I can't find anything definitive. It seems like most people think he's only going to play the first half or he's going to be pulled early. Apparently, I'm reading that the backup quarterback did get some reps this week in practice. But I'm also reading some other things that are making me believe that that's a bunch of bullshit and that McCloud's going to play the whole game. So I'm not going to say definitively either way because I don't know. I do know if McCloud plays the full game, this shouldn't be a problem. I mean, North Texas defensively is bad, and I mean really bad. They played well in the last game against Temple. In the 4 games before that, they were allowing 40 points per game. 40. So this North Texas defense is not good. So if McCloud plays the full game, this shouldn't be a problem. If he doesn't play, I mean, we've seen stints of this backup. He does have some talent. He probably won't cover this. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm on Texas State minus 13.5. That's the bet I had. Like I said, it's really dependent on whether or not McCloud's going to play. On the offensive side of the ball for North Texas, by the way, they're also missing a bunch of pieces. So it's not like if McCloud doesn't play, Texas State is screwed. They'll probably still win comfortably. There's 13, and they have some pretty big number. North Texas is missing Chandler Morris, the quarterback. They're also missing a couple pieces on the offensive line. They're missing a wide receiver, a tight end. So North Texas offense is pretty screwed up as well. So I laid it. Not going to spend any more time talking about this.
Yeah. So yesterday, good day. Notre Dame and Ole Miss. I had both of them, but so this line's moving more. It's 15.5 on DraftKings.
Is it really?
So that's kind of making me assume Jordan McCloud's definitely going to play a lot. RJ Martinez is gone too. That was their backup. So this is his game all the way, I guess. They did lose their starting running back in Mahdi, but their backups have been fine for this team.
Real quick, someone commented who's a Texas State fan was saying that the backup running back's every bit as good as Mahdi. So I don't think the running back being out is that. Then this is coming.
I was going to say their backups have been fine. The biggest thing that was going to them be Terry Webb and Tavian Coleman are out on the defensive line for Texas State, but it looks like they're playing too. So for the most part, this is a pretty complete Texas State team, like you said. On the North Texas side, Chandler Morris is gone. He's transferred to Virginia, who's going to replace Calandria. Drew Messmaker's playing here. He threw 5 passes all year, 4 for 5, 80%, not bad. True freshman though, the quarterback playing in the bowl game. Not only that though, for North Texas, their best wide receiver is gone. Their offensive line's all banged out. They already said 2 true freshmen is going to start on the line today, so that's going to be hard for me to take North Texas and the points. This over/under is 65.5, which is crazy. North Texas, without their transfers, they lost 2 corners and a linebacker who they're already really, really bad on the defensive side of the ball. Like Kyle said, they gave up 35 points a game, over 450 yards a game, and they were terrible throughout the air and on the ground. So they had no good impact players on this defense. And I mean, who knows with this North Texas game? They were an offensive team throughout the season. Their coach is an offensive coach. So both of these teams do play very high in tempo. They're top 30 for both teams. So there might be big plays all over the place, but and if for some reason Jordan McLeod doesn't play and they're relying on 2 freshman quarterbacks in this game, I don't know, maybe the over/under, the total will come down. I'd bet the over, I guess, but it's just uncertain who's playing here. If Jordan McLeod's playing, I would definitely bet now it's 15.5 on DraftKings, still 14.5, I think, other places. So I would take that still with Texas State. North Texas just has a terrible defense, so I would take them.
Couple of comments I want to address saying the line is now changed. I was just letting you know what bet I have. This is not a channel for someone to come and just blindly tail. I mean, I'm letting you know what I have and what I did so you can make your own decisions. I mean, if Jordan McLeod's playing and especially if Scoop said those defensive tackles are playing for you said, Scoop,
they're on the roster still.
If those defensive tackles play, then I mean, I would probably lay 19.5 with Texas State. If I knew for sure Jordan McLeod was playing, and those because both their defensive tackles were listed under possible opt-outs. So if both those defensive tackles are playing, I don't see any reason why Texas State doesn't run the score up on them. But that's a big if. Like I said, if you bet this game, just know that you're doing some gambling here. So yeah, that's how I feel. Next game.
Yeah, Kyle's gambling. I did not place a bet on that game.
Yeah, I actually did place that bet at the 13.5.
You played this game too, right? You said
I did. Another one with a lot of moving parts here.
Right.
So we got Minnesota, Virginia Tech. All the props that I gave to bowl, I've been giving props to bowl season the last couple weeks, deservingly so. These kids are playing. We're seeing great football games. I mean, bowl season has taken a lot of heat over the last couple of years, myself included. I'm guilty of shitting on bowl season myself. But this year, I'd say 80% of these games have been great football games. Most of these kids are playing, too. So the criticism of like, oh, no one wants to play in bowl season, they shot it dead because for the most part, these teams are going out there at full strength, maybe missing a piece or two. So bowl season definitely redeemed themselves this year. That being said, Virginia Tech screwed it up because there's nobody playing for Virginia Tech in this game. On the defensive side of the ball, So first of all, Virginia Tech's defense, excellent this year. Probably a top 15 defense in the country, loaded with NFL talent. None of those NFL players are playing. Powell Ryland, their NFL edge rusher, you'll hear about him in April if you're an NFL draft guy. Probably a first-round pick, not playing. Both corners out. 2 safeties out. So 4 of their top 5 defensive backs not playing in this game for Virginia Tech. They're also missing both defensive tackles. So when I say that every single piece of data we have for Virginia Tech's defense, chuck it, because the entire defense is out. It's an entirely new defense. I believe they have 2 linebackers and a defensive end are the only pieces playing in the game that saw significant. Oh, and they have a safety. But pretty much the entire defense is gone. And on the offensive side of the ball for Virginia Tech, we're missing, ready for this? Left tackle, center, right guard, star running back Tootin. Kyron Drones isn't playing. Colin Schlee, the backup quarterback, isn't playing. I think the receivers are playing, though. I think they do have the receivers. I went over, by the way, 42.5. The reason, because you might be thinking, Kyle, how can you count on Virginia Tech to score points in this game to get over this number? Well, for starters, this is a very low total for a bowl game. I took the under around this number in the Oklahoma Navy game. That's a little different. These teams throw the ball. Minnesota throws the ball. And Virginia Tech with Pop Watson at quarterback, I mean, that kid showed us he can make plays. So 42.5 is a low total for a bowl game, especially when I'm expecting both teams to drop back to pass a decent amount. On the Minnesota side, Brosmer's going to play, and against a completely decimated Virginia Tech defense, I would imagine he has some success. And on the Virginia Tech side, Granted, I do expect most of the points to come from the Minnesota side, but on the Virginia Tech side, this quarterback, this freshman, Pop Watson, man, go YouTube Virginia Tech Week 14 highlights. This kid was like his first career start in a rivalry game. He was chucking the ball downfield. He was breaking tackles in the backfield, getting out of the pocket and making throws. He looked excellent. This kid looked awesome. So, look, am I expecting him to piece up the Minnesota defense? No. But they got a freshman quarterback. If I'm Virginia Tech, I'm seeing what I got. I'm letting him spread his wings in this one. Does that result in Virginia Tech points? Maybe. Could also result in pick 6 for Minnesota points. So I just think it gets up and over the total. I don't feel very strongly about it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I waited. This was 10.5 earlier. I just bet this at 9.5 for Minnesota. I know I've been good with the regular bowl games, but this is a gross one. There's just so many transfers and opt-outs. Like I said, if I was taking a side, I was waiting for this to go to 9.5. I would take Minnesota Atlanta points. The biggest reason, obviously, Kyron Jones isn't expected to play as a quarterback for Virginia Tech. He wasn't great at times throughout the season, but he would have been able to move the ball against Minnesota. Minnesota still does have their quarterback in Brosmer, and still 3 starting offensive linemen may be out, which may be rough. But their best wideout in Jackson, a few pieces on defense, maybe 9 starters in all are still going to be missing for Minnesota. But it's better than 15 starters for Virginia Tech. So the thing here is Pop Watson, like Kyle said, is starting at quarterback for Virginia Tech. Kind of like the Duke and Georgia game. You're starting a player who has little experience, but he did have that good Virginia game. He did play the last 2 games against Duke and Virginia. He looked good in a Virginia game, not so much in the Duke game. But the fact is Virginia Tech, like I said, is down 15 starters. So there's just so many unknowns in this game, including which I don't know if I wasn't listening really, but they had the whole Virginia Tech's whole secondary is going to be out. Like really, literally, like almost their whole secondary. 3 corners, both safeties. They also don't have a defensive coordinator. So if these were 2 full strength teams, it'd be a fun game. But with Virginia Tech down to their possible, I guess, 3rd string quarterback, 3rd string running back, no offensive lineman pretty much, and a depleted secondary, I would lean Minnesota here for sure. I took it just because I like the gamble. It's like the second to last bowl game in general. So like I said, Brosner led them all year. They still have Darius Taylor in the backfield. They should definitely get some open receivers now with no one on the defensive side of the ball. It's just hard for me to take Virginia Tech with so many unknown pieces on their team.
All right, let's move on. We have college basketball queued up next, but we could do college NBA. I don't see Chris at ski, so we can do college basketball first.
All right, let's just do that.
Yeah. So we'll just
We're gonna run this 2-person.
Yeah, it's you and Scoop.
One
Okay.
second. Where's the thing for you guys? I feel like I had that. I'm actually, I don't know. Just set it up like this, and I'll make a thing for you. 1 second.
I'll get the poll up, HA.
Okay. I'm just gonna put something over Sauce's name to make it Scoop. You can start whenever.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows that it's Scoop, so we're probably gonna be okay. But Scoop actually has a bet in this game. I think it's actually going to be a really good game to watch. So I'll let Scoop, if you want to take it away, because I know that you actually have a bet in this one.
Who's favorite? I'm sorry. Who's supposed to be the favorite here?
Wisconsin.
Okay.
I like Iowa here. I know Wisconsin started off the season well. They look shaky though against Butler. Detroit Mercy. I don't count that game. Whatever with that win. But before that, they had 3 straight losses against Michigan, Marquette, Illinois. Now I know all 3 of them are probably better than Iowa, but Iowa offensively can battle with anyone right now, I feel. They're a really solid shooting team. They're 4th in effective field goal percentage, and Iowa moves the ball among one of the best in the league. They're 2nd in assists this season. They spread the ball a lot. They're 4th in assist to turnover rate, so they keep care of the ball a lot. And besides Tanjay for Wisconsin, I'm not sure they have the offense to keep up with Iowa, so Iowa's going to run at a fast pace. You kind of saw like with the Illinois game yesterday, if they're shooting like they have a legit chance to win this game outright. Wisconsin, decent defense, but all the way down to 169th in effective field goal percentage. And Yeah, just a decent defense. They're down in the 90s in defensive field goal percentage. Iowa isn't great there either, but like I said, not a lot of scores for Wisconsin. And if Owen Freeman keeps shooting the way he has been, him and Peyton Sanford have the ability to be one of the best front courts in the Big Ten right now. So I'm just gonna go with the better shooting team right now. I think this line should be about a possession for Wisconsin. Iowa should continue to hit their threes against a weaker defense in Wisconsin, in my opinion. So I'm gonna definitely take Iowa in this game.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I didn't play this. It would be over or pass for me. And here's why. I don't really. Iowa's been playing a little bit more better solid defense than I assumed that they would this year. I will give them that, but I do think
Tell them to. Oh, they can hear me. Hold on.
Did she say hold on?
Yeah, he did. I don't know what's going on.
Should I go?
Kyle, what
I was going to say, tell everyone to refresh their YouTube.
Telling who to refresh their YouTube?
Because people are saying the audio's coming in messed up. They just need to refresh their YouTube. It's fine on our end. I didn't know that they could hear me.
Oh, my bad. So I would say over or pass here. So Wisconsin is going to pound the ball inside, and that's one of the weaknesses of this Iowa defense. Iowa's done a very good job preventing three-point shots, but that's something that's not a way that Wisconsin is trying to beat you. They're trying to slow the game down, win through their defense, and score easy buckets inside. And not to mention the fact that Wisconsin is the best free throw shooting team in the country, shooting over 85% as a team. And that bothers me in this type of a game where I do think this game could be close because I do trust Iowa's offense, especially like Scoop talked about, effective field goal percentage. They're top 5, average possession length. They get up and down the floor. They create easy buckets for themselves. They don't turn the ball over. Wisconsin doesn't force turnovers, but this is going to be Iowa's second true road game of the year. That kind of concerns me, not to mention the fact that Iowa hasn't really played anybody. I know that their schedule looks somewhat decent looking at their losses when it's Michigan, Iowa State, and Utah State, but they're still coming in as a 275 strength of schedule, and Iowa can't shoot free throws to save their life. So if this game is close within a possession or two late, and then we start to get into a free throw battle, I think that could really mess up some of the spread for some of you guys who are betting Iowa. Again, Wisconsin has played. The reason that I can't bet Wisconsin is because I need to see them actually play well. And like Scoop talked about, the Butler game was kind of concerning to me. They should have beat that team pretty easily. But I will say the other 3 games that they lost, Michigan, Marquette, Illinois, as we saw, Scoop mentioned Illinois last night. That team's really good. Marquette's fantastic. And Michigan's really, really big. And that's not something a threat that Iowa is going to give to Wisconsin today. So I would say both teams probably score easily here today. I would say over or pass, but I really wanted to play Wisconsin kind of, but at the same time, just because of Iowa playing their second road game, it's just really hard to get there for me, but I get it. If their offense is on, it's going to be just like Illinois, like Scoop said yesterday. So it'll be interesting. What Illinois did to Oregon yesterday was
insane. That was not an under spot.
Well, I mean, it looked for the
first. It looked 10 in the beginning. The first 10 minutes was great.
10 minutes it was
the only loss again I had yesterday.
I mean, I don't even think that that's a bad loss. I don't even think that was a bad loss for you, Scoop. I mean, how many times is Illinois going to score? 100 points in fucking 50 minutes or something like that? It was crazy. So, all right, what's next?
Michigan State, Ohio State.
Sparty, Buckeyes. Did you have a bet in this game, or should I go first? I do have a bet on this one.
That's fine.
I'm on Ohio State here. I actually really like Ohio State a lot in this game. So first of all, it's like a buy low, sell high type of a spot. I know that Michigan State has looked really good to start the year. They've played a very strong schedule, not trying to poke holes at that. But at the same time, I will say that their schedule is a little bit skewed. They had a very good first half of the schedule, playing teams like Kansas, and then going on and playing their tournament where they got to play Colorado, Memphis, and North Carolina. But in the month of December leading up to now, who have they played? Minnesota, as we saw yesterday. Scoop had Purdue yesterday. Minnesota, absolutely terrible. Their best team that they've played is Nebraska, who's, I mean, I don't really think Nebraska is that great. Then they played Oakland. Then they played FAU, a team that just got absolutely destroyed by Memphis yesterday. And that game was never even close. And then who they play after that? And then they played Western Michigan at home. So the only true road game that they've played so far this year is at Minnesota, which we just discussed is absolutely terrible. And now they're going to come in and face an Ohio State team that has played a really decent schedule as well. I mean, since the beginning of December, they've played teams like Maryland, Rutgers, which I know that Rutgers isn't really fantastic right now, but they do have two studs in Harper and Bailey. And even yesterday, I mean,
By the way, that sucked. That Dylan
Yeah, that
Harper
was
got ruled out like an hour
that was
before the
absolutely
game.
ridiculous yesterday. But my point to that was they didn't look terrible in that game yesterday, and they didn't have Dylan Harper. So I don't really. I mean, it just shows that Ohio State is playing these good teams. They also played Auburn in December. They played Kentucky in December. They played Indiana State in December. Who again, Indiana State's nothing special, but they're a decent mid-major team. So I think that Ohio State's been playing a stronger schedule, and they're going to be catching this Michigan State team at home. And what's Ohio State do? They can drain threes and stay in this game, and that's one thing that Michigan State can't do is they can't shoot the ball. So I just feel like Ohio State's not going to turn the ball over a lot. They're like top 30 in the country in turnover percentage. Not to mention the fact that Michigan State's in the 200s as far as forcing turnovers. So I think Ohio State's going to get a whole bunch of shots up today. The only thing that concerns me is if this game's a little bit close late. Ohio State's not a very good free throw shooting team. Michigan State's one of the top 10 free throw shooting team in the country. But Michigan State hasn't shown me anything that they can score. And I think that the Ohio State defense is just as good or has played just as well as this Michigan State defense is. They're only like 15 spots different in KenPom. So there's not a really huge gap here. So Ohio State at home playing in their home gym. I think their shots fall tonight, and I think they win this game.
Yeah, so mostly what Toast said. So, and on Randy, this isn't Izzo's time. It's not January, February Izzo yet. It's just January. I'm going Ohio State and laying the points. I think they're gonna struggle a bit away from home. This is only their second road game this year. The first, like Toast said, pretty much everything I was going to. This first one was against Minnesota, and you saw how bad Minnesota is. We talked about them yesterday. They can't win, let alone cover a spread. Ohio State's just a way tougher team. Ohio State, they've looked great lately. That run against Pitt, Maryland, Auburn, I agree, looked terrible. But they bounced back against Kentucky. This team isn't great at stopping anyone on the defensive side of the ball, but I think we touched on Ohio State earlier this year. This team can shoot some threes. They're shooting almost 40% from three. Michigan State has done a pretty good job defending the three, but they haven't really played a team that shot a three ball like Ohio State yet. So the one time they did play against a team that could shoot three against Memphis, they lost by 8. Actually, I think the last time we did talk about Ohio State, I was saying they may struggle since Michi Johnson is going to be out, which many considered one of the better players. Well, so far they played better without Michi Johnson. Quez Glover, since he's been hurt, came back. He's played quality minutes against Kentucky, really solid minutes against Indiana State, and he really brings a defensive presence to this team. I think he's a great six-man off the bench. He has a chance to start this season. Plus, the thing with Michigan State is they're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the nation. They're outside of the top 300. Ohio State won't give them time to shoot there in general. I know Michigan State's a lot stronger in terms of rebounding. And like Toast said, free throws, but Ohio State at home shooting, it's going to be too much for Michigan State. Ohio State's just a way better offensive team, so I like them to lay the 2.5 at home.
One thing that I forgot to say about the free throws for Ohio State is they're actually getting a little bit better. Their last 5 games, 68% against Indiana State, 78% against Kentucky, 85% against Valpo. They were bad against Auburn, but they shot 76% against Rutgers as well. So they're continuing to get better at the free throw line, which helps. And when Michigan, and I like that point about Michigan State facing teams against threes, because when they face Kansas, the only other team that Michigan State has played not with island rims, aka Colorado, that game was an absolute anomaly. They got destroyed by Kansas. Not destroyed, but I think they lost by double digits. So anyway, next game up. Xavier, Georgetown. I got a bet on this one. Do you have a bet on this one or no?
No, I don't have a bet on the next two, actually.
All right. Well, I'm on Georgetown. Georgetown's treated me very, very well this year, and I'm going right back to the well with them. I continue to say, and I'm going to continue to say it, or I should say that I just feel like they're undervalued in the marketplace. They haven't played a great schedule. I will give you that. But at the same time, let me get my notes up. Sorry. At the same time, they've only have 2 losses. One loss was their 3rd game of the season against Notre Dame. Take it for what you want. They didn't show up in that game. It is what it is. But their only other loss, and again, I understand that they haven't played a great schedule, but their only other loss was West Virginia. And we're talking about a West Virginia team that has wins against Gonzaga, Arizona, and Kansas. The only losses that they had was to Louisville in overtime, and the other one was to Pitt in the 3rd game of the season on the road. So that West Virginia loss for Georgetown looks very, very good. Since then, they took care of business against Syracuse. They took care of business against Creighton and Seton Hall. The Coppin State game doesn't really mean anything to me, but I don't really think that, excuse me, Xavier is a very good basketball team. Like I get that they've played a decent schedule, but at the same time, every time that they've gone on the road this season, they haven't looked good. Not to mention, I don't put a lot of stock in them beating Seton Hall, and I think that's what everybody's seeing. There's their last time out. They destroyed Seton Hall. This Georgetown team played this team kind of spots, but it was kind of I felt like that game was kind of a flat spot for Seton Hall after playing this Georgetown team really close, losing that game. Then they had Christmas break. Then they had to go on the road to play Xavier. So as Andy's always says, college basketball isn't transactional. I think this is like the definition of that. So Xavier shot almost 50% from deep in that game against Seton Hall when they destroyed them their last time out. I don't think there's a chance in hell they do that here tonight. Also, Georgetown, pretty decent size and does a very good job of defending inside. So I feel like if Xavier can't hit their shots from outside and they're forced to play inside, I think that doesn't bode very well for them at all. I think this is another really good spot to get Georgetown at home, who they've played extremely well at home this year, besides, like I said, that one bad game against Notre Dame. But I think this is a great spot for Georgetown.
So yeah, if I was taking a side, I think I would take Georgetown. I'm not confident like Toast is. I didn't bet this game. The reason really is just overall trust in Georgetown. I'm scared. I think it's going to be a few more weeks of seeing Georgetown play good basketball for me to put money on them. By the way, someone said Ed Cooley's hair is like my beard. I can see it. I can see the similarities. There's a lot of holes here. Yeah, so they're just I don't know. It's took a while with Michigan too, kind of like going against DePaul, the same thing. But I'm also not trusting Sean Miller on the road with Xavier. Xavier opened up with a rough schedule with UConn and Marquette. They did play both of them tough, and they just beat Seton Hall. But Seton Hall, I firmly believe, is the worst Big East team this year. This is going against right now, statistically, the top Big East defense right now in Georgetown. I know this is Georgetown. I know they're out of conference scheduling. Was in the top 10 of easiest schedules, but listen, it's really what Georgetown needed. They need confidence back in their team, and so far this team's balanced. This defense has been great. They're allowing 38% from the field, 32% from three. And listen, the out of conference schedule was bad, but they did beat Syracuse, Creighton. They barely squeaked by Seton Hall, but they did kill Creighton. That game was awesome to watch for them, and I think Georgetown can bother Fremantle and pressure them. That's their path to winning. PV and Sorber, I think, can match up well against Fremantle. If Epps can keep scoring on the perimeter, this should be Georgetown's game. So if I was taking a side, I would take Georgetown.
Yeah, that's another thing is that Xavier can usually shoot over teams and stuff. They're not going to be able to do that with Georgetown. Georgetown's one of the biggest teams in the country. So next game up, Beaver.
Marquette, Creighton.
Yeah. What's this line at? 10.5 now?
10.5.
Yeah. Oh, man. I do. All right, please do.
So I don't have a bet in this one. I'm actually less sure about this game than the other one. It's just hard for me to trust Creighton. I guess I would lean taking 10.5. I just don't know. They're so inconsistent. Like I was saying before, when they're on, they can compete with any of these Big East teams. They just beat St. John's. They beat Nova by 6. They beat number 1 Kansas at the time. They beat Notre Dame. So when they're on, they're definitely on. But when they're off, they lose to a horrible Nebraska team, an 18-point loss to San Diego State. Like I just said before, a 20-plus loss to Georgetown. Kalkbrenner is still obviously the leading man of the team, but Ashworth can play well too. So the talent's there. They just can't execute. And Marquette is great defensively, but in reality, Creighton should be able to compete with them down low. They have the size. It's just really putting it all together. That's something they can't do right now. I'm also just not betting this though, because besides Marquette down low, where they should get hammered, Marquette's probably a better all-around team everywhere else. Cam Jones is a monster. Joplin's a key piece there too. There's just not a lot of confidence in either team right now that makes me want to take them. And I definitely don't want to take Creighton on the road, but I also feel like 10.5 points is a lot of points for a team that has the ability to put together a quality game. They're still a good 3-point shooting team, a good free throw shooting team, and it's just a matter of putting it all together. But so if I would take a side, I would take 10.5, but yeah, I'm not touching this game.
Yeah, I would probably at this point, now that it's at double digits, I would probably look towards like the team total unders. Like I would look at like Creighton team total under 67.5 or something like that. But just to make it easier, you can put Marquette on the board for me, Beaver. But I agree with Scoop. I know that Creighton has played a decent schedule, but I think that win over Kansas was more fluky than anything. Kansas was, I mean, they also in that same time frame or close to that same time frame lost to Missouri on the road as well. So, I mean, take that for what it is. It's still a solid win. But any other time that they've had to step up in competition, I mean, that St. John's game could have went either way. There was shots at the buzzer. I mean, obviously they won that game, but again, that was St. John's on the road. I'm pretty sure that was their first or second actually true road game. So, this is a completely different story here with this Marquette team who. I mean, Marquette is tested. I mean, Marquette, has played a 17th overall schedule as well. Their only 2 losses to Iowa State and Dayton, but I mean, at home, they're really destroying teams. 10 points to Butler. They beat Wisconsin by 14 points at home. I mean, a lot of the other teams that they played at home were a lot lesser competition. But this I mean, I don't think they match up very well with this Creighton team at all. Marquette defensively, yes, they don't defend well inside, but Creighton turns the ball over a lot, and Marquette forces turnovers at a top 5 rate in the country. If Marquette can't get the ball over half court, or if Marquette can't get the ball inside, it doesn't really matter how good their 2-point offense is. And on the other side of that, Marquette's offense doesn't turn the ball over, and Creighton's defense doesn't turn the ball or create turnovers at all. Creighton is one of the worst teams in the country, number 360 in the country in turnover percentage. So again, Creighton usually can get teams with their size. They're not going to be able to do that with Marquette. Marquette matches up with them size-wise. So this all on paper, this should be a beating for Marquette, especially back at home now. So it's definitely Marquette or pass. Again, if you don't want to lay 10, I get it. I think that Marquette team total under 67.5 is a decent look as well. So, yeah.
All right, let's do some NBA.
See it.
Celtics are going to lose. It's the Vegas special, he said. What the hell does that mean? Wow, Prop Beaver's on the screen for the first game, which means Prop Beaver has a look in this first one.
Yeah, a little something.
You got a little something in this one?
First, actually, no, this is not the defense prop. This is the Cade Cunningham prop, yeah.
Well, I'll start out by saying or actually, you know what? You want to go? I'll set the poll up and shit for you.
Yeah, sure. 1 second. Do we have everybody's audio working? I don't hear Chris and Ski at all.
I didn't say
I was
anything.
muted. I was listening to music.
Okay.
While y'all was,
He just looked like he over there dancing the Hotline Bling.
I'm in
by
my zone,
Drake.
man. I got it.
Alrighty. Okay, yeah. So in this one, I'm going with Cade Cunningham over the 10.5 assists. We got no Jaden Ivey in this one. Obviously, as most of you saw, I mean, dude broke his fibula the other night. Tragedy. Cole Anthony doing his thing. So we got Cade Cunningham over 10.5 assists. Now, if you go back to last season, the hit rate without Jaden Ivey, it's really not that great. I mean, actually, the hit rate's like pretty atrocious. I believe it's like under 20% without Jaden Ivey. But this year without Jaden Ivey, 2-1 to the line, and the potential assists are through the roof. I'm going to get that up in a second. Just wanted to get the graphic up. All right, so let me get my write-up up real quick. Yeah, so with Ivey on the court, Cunningham averages 9 assists per 36 minutes. Without him, that jumps up to 10.7 per 36 minutes. And that's pretty key here because with Ivey on the court this season, 6-20 to the over. Without him in that 3-game sample size, not only is he averaging 12 assists per game and 20 potential assists per game, which would be the most in the NBA this season, but he's also averaging 42 minutes per game. So this is a guy that is living on the court. Now going to face a Hornets defense that, while pretty decently stout and doesn't really allow that many assists to point guards, they funnel shots to the above-the-break 3 and the rim. They allow the 7th most above-the-break field goals made, 4th most rim field goals made. That's where 74% of Cunningham's assists go to. And the Pistons are 7-point favorites here. In wins this season, Cunningham has hit 10-plus assists his last 10 to 12 games, and Ivey played in all but one of those contests. He also has 10 assists in back-to-back matchups against the Hornets, both with Ivey on the floor. So I just think that he's going to be able to get that one more assist here. I mean, the Hornets defense, bottom 10 defense in terms of assists per game allowed over the last 10 games. So they actually are struggling a bit more in that category as well. I think we're going to see a sizable boost in terms of the assist chances. I think he's going to be able to get that one extra assist here at the plus money. Also, just looking at the Pistons lineup, I mean, you got Tim Hardaway Jr., you got Beasley, you've got Asard Thompson, you've got Jalen Duren, not a lot of these guys could really create their own shot. So I really think Cade, even in this tough matchup, is going to have to pass the ball here, going to have to create those opportunities for his teammates. So he might be a guy who, without Ivy, could be a matchup-proof guy in those smash matchups, could be a guy we look to ladder. I think he's going to be a wagon without Ivy. So over 10.5 assists here, plus 110, plus 112 in FanDuel.
Well, all right. So you got Cade over 10.5 assists at plus 110. I was leaning towards the Charlotte side, maybe a Charlotte team total over, but it's tough to do anything along those lines without knowing the status of LaMelo Ball, and I think Brandon Miller's listed as questionable as well.
Both participate in shoot-arounds.
Both participating in shoot-around. That's probably why the line drops from 7.5 to 6.5. I would lean towards the Charlotte team total over. As we know, when LaMelo Ball is on the court, they run a much faster pace. Obviously, they're a better offensive team as well. On the season, they're one of the worst offensive teams in the NBA, but when LaMelo Ball plays, they are capable of scoring points a little bit. Pistons can't play defense for shit. Haven't been for most of the year. They're catching a big number, which means we should get a big, nice little price on that. Quick math. What is that? 108.5, Chris, for a team total for Charlotte? 108.5?
I see 107, but I think it's 108 is consensus. But yeah, about 108, 107.
So that's probably where I would look here. If you guys are down to co-sign that, I'll bet it. But as of right now, this is not a bet I have. This is just the way I would go. Charlotte team total over. What about you, gentlemen?
Well, I'm not co-signing. I'll co-sign Beaver just because that's all I was looking at this morning. Everything he said, I don't really have to repeat it. The one game he didn't hit out of the 3, he only played I think it was 36 minutes. So one thing I will say, I've been debating between assists and rebounds and assists. That's why I haven't played it yet. I even debated points too, just because I think Cade is going to have to really do everything for this team. I look at this really from the assist part, it's kind of like the Austin Reeves thing. With no D'Lo, Reeves has to do everything. With no Ivy, Cade is going to have to do everything. The 2 times he played Hornets, he landed right on 10. But he did hit the 16.5 rebounds plus assists. So I'm still debating. I'll be on one or the other before the day's over.
All right, so I'll put that up for you for now.
Chris?
I'm with you, Kyle. I'm with you. Didn't bet it because, like you said, it's tough to bet. So I haven't bet it yet. But I want to take Charlotte plus the points here as well. I think the injury to Jaden Ivey, get well soon. Jaden Ivey as quickly as you possibly can, recovering from an injury like that. Could leave the team a little shell-shocked. Charlotte needs a win in the worst possible way. I think they've lost 16 of their last 17 games. Major rest advantage here coming off 3 days rest. I was looking into it, Cal, real quick, with LaMelo on the floor as far as scoring. It looks like with him on the floor, they're averaging about 109. With LaMelo off the floor, they're averaging 103. So there is about 6-point differential there, but I don't know. I would guess that he would play. He didn't play the last game against Chicago. He didn't play the game against OKC. And I mean, those games were like 5-6 days ago. So now you had 3 days rest. Like, I feel like they should even be like, I don't know what the Hornets are doing, man. That's what makes it hard for me to play them. But if they both play, I'll be on Charlotte, probably team total over with you, Kyle. Probably stand away from the spread, even though I think they can cover. They've matched up really well against Detroit, beat them twice already in both of the earlier games. Player prop wise, Ski and probably we didn't mention this one, but I like Malik Beasley without Ivy being there. He's up and over the 15.5 number. I think that's his number for today. He's up and over that number. In his 3-point prop, I think is good too. But 7 of the last 10 games, it should see a lot more usage. This has been bet up from 14.5. So I agree with the movement coming in on the over. He's coming off a really poor game against Orlando, really good defensive team where he only had 2 points in that game. So that should be a nice little bounce back spot for Malik Beasley here. Dude shooting 46% from the 3-point line over his last 10 games. So I like Malik Beasley points and like the points for the Charlotte Hornets if LaMelo and Brandon Miller are both in.
Let's move on. Next one. And this is another one that I got my finger on the trigger here. You guys down to bet the Raps? I mean, I know plus 1.5 with a team that's won one of their last 13 basketball games. I get it. Orlando is the better team. But with the current injuries, I mean, how good do we really think this Magic team is, especially on the road? I mean, the Magic haven't won a road game since December 1st. We're talking over a month ago. That was the last time the Magic won a road game, and now we're laying points on the road with them. Quickly back in the lineup, I think, should give this Raptors team a bit of a momentum boost. Not that Quickly is the greatest player in the world, but take it from a Knicks fan, when he's on the floor, I feel like the whole team just has more energy. He's just a high energy player, and I feel like he brings good out of his surrounding pieces. And I think Toronto might not be nearly as bad as we perceive down the rest of this season if Quickly is going to be healthy. So I think the Raptors, even just a money line or the +1.5 would be a move here. Like I said, my finger's on the trigger. I haven't bet it yet. What do you guys think? And by the way, no RJ Barrett doesn't really concern me much. RJ's a player that likes to get to the rim, kind of plays into the strength of this Magic defense the way we know them to play basketball, protect the basket. So I don't know how effective RJ Barrett would be against the Magic anyway. So I lean towards the Raptors here if you guys are down to co-sign that.
No, I'm not going to co-sign the Raptors. I look at the Raptors as a team that I can trust them to do two things: play fast and play no defense. And I don't like betting on teams that play no defense. It's just as simple as that. I get everything you're saying about Orlando. So if I'm betting this one, it would have to be Jalen Suggs. Looking at his points, his 22.5. It's more than I'm used to betting when I see this Raptors team. But this just goes back to, it was like some, like he was mad that they didn't draft him. They took Scotty Barnes over him. And every time they play him, he just goes off first them. But he usually doesn't play as many minutes as he's been playing lately. So his average is not as high as it looks, or as high as he's supposed to get today. But he's hit this 3 of his last 4 games. And even though he got paid, I know he still takes it personal. So I'll lean Suggs over 22.5 points.
Suggs over 22.5 points.
I'll just follow him up because I'm also playing Jalen Suggs, but on a different prop. I'm actually hyped to hear that he has a little revenge angle here. Should make him a little more feisty on the defensive end. I got Jalen Suggs over 1.5 steals here.
Yo, your steal props are back, dude.
I love my steal props, bro. I do. I love me some steal props. They're a little wagon. If you find the right team, or if the team just keeps turning the ball over, it's Raptors. One concern here would be that Emmanuel Quickly is back in the lineup. His turnover rate is actually pretty solid compared to, I guess, the other guys that had handling the ball here. But team as a whole is a goddamn disaster for the Raptors. I mean, 27th in offensive turnover rate on the season, 28th in offensive turnover rate over the last 5 games. Suggs may be under his last 6-7 games, but he broke the dam last game with 3 steals, finally back, and he's back on the road. That's pretty massive because for some reason, this man just doesn't rack up the steals in Disney World. At home in Orlando, under 10 straight, averaging less than 1 steal per game. But if you look on the road, he's over his last 7 of 8, and he's averaging more than 2.5 steals per game. So he goes ballistic on the road, racking up the steals. Now he's going to face that Raptors team that kind of parallels the Orlando team that we used to fade near daily last year. They've allowed the 3rd most steals per game to point guards, 5th most steals per game to shooting guards on the season. And I just mentioned it, Raptors offensive turnover rate, absolutely horrendous. And the fact that we've seen him cash this in 4 straight against Toronto, and I think it's worth at least a half unit play here. Maybe a full unit with the little rivalry angle that Ski's got working.
You do know that the Orlando Magic don't play in Disney World, right?
I mean, might as well.
Okay. Just making sure you knew that.
No, I know.
Chris.
I've been to Disney World. I ain't never seen the Magic there.
Oh, they probably had a road game.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's true. Must have been it.
Proppy was walking around the Magic Kingdom like, where do the Magic play?
Where are they?
Where did Jalen Suggs jersey?
We're walking around Epcot.
I lean with you, Cal. I didn't bet it, and it's really just goes back to what Ski said. Like I'm not sure. Like if they were getting a few more points, Cal, I'd be like, okay, cool. But at 1.5, you really need them to win the game outright. Like I'm not trying to be sweating this one like on a Friday night.
Tough.
Like I need Orlando to win. I need Toronto to actually win the game. I think Toronto is due to come up a little bit. RJ isn't officially ruled out. I saw him listed as questionable.
Doubtful.
Whatever illness,
I'm seeing doubtful.
Yeah, doubtful. My fault. Doubtful. You're right. Whatever illness he has going for him, I hope he gets better because this illness is taking him out for a while. Like he's missed like the last 5 games. But yeah, you mentioned Orlando's offense. Last 5 games, 2nd worst offense in the NBA, 2nd worst effective field goal percentage, turning the ball over at the 3rd highest rate. But on the opposite side, to what Ski was saying, Toronto is the worst defensive rated team, worst in effective field goal percentage. They're giving up a ton of offensive rebounds over the last 5 games. It should improve with Quickly being back. Bruce Brown, I think, probably is going to play in this spot as well. Orlando needs a win in the worst possible way after losing so many games. Toronto finally broke the losing streak. I'm off the game, but I do lean Toronto plus the point. I don't want to take Orlando on the road. I think they're the worst of the two evils. Toronto also 20-13-1 against the number, 12-5 against the spread at the crib, 70.6%.
All right. So it didn't sound like he officially co-signed it though.
No,
That's
I
what
did, but I just don't need them.
It was
like,
a
I
weak.
need
It was a
plus
weak ass
4.5.
co-sign. It was not a
Yeah,
confident
that's because I don't
co-sign.
have any money on it. Yeah, not a lot at all.
I'm looking for like a let's do it, Kyle, like something like that.
Friends wouldn't tell friends to bet on the Toronto Raptors right now, getting 1.5 points, Kyle.
I enjoyed my stay at that resort early in the season. May have to
Sometimes you gotta know when to leave.
May have to check back in. All right, for probably the best game on the board, but also. Oh, no, Knicks Thunder is probably better than this. But so one of the best games on the board. But in terms of betting aside, I mean, I looked at this one. I would love to place a bet on this game. But doesn't this one feel like just flip a coin? I mean, you got Boston on the back-to-back, right? Boston hasn't been the cover machines. But we're now talking about two. When we're talking about how, hey, Boston doesn't cover the number, they're normally laying north of 7.5, 8. So now we're betting on if you want. I want to bet the Rockets is what I want to do. So if you're betting Houston here, you're basically taking the money line against a team that's probably going to win 60-plus basketball games, which is just not something you want to make a habit of doing. I guess Rockets are pass, but I don't know. I couldn't get anywhere with this game. Feels like a coin flip at this number to me. You guys have anything?
I'll try to sell you on a bet.
I'm listening.
I like the Rockets in the first half. And looking at the Celtics, first of all, we know they played last night. It's also their fourth game in 6 nights. The Rockets, they've been at home for a while. And what have they won? A few games? Or no, they won last game. They didn't win a few games in a row. But what I like here is they have the rest advantage. They're at the house where they've been playing better. And we all remember who the coach of the Celtics used to be. He's going to get his team up to play this game. And they already play well at home. So looking at the first half, they cover 75% of the time. I think getting +1 or even just taking them on the money line in the first half, they're going to come out here and throw the first punch. I like the Rockets early.
Rockets first half. I'm not a first half guy, but it was a pretty compelling speech. Chris, what do you want? Like, what do we do at halftime when we bet these freaking first halves? Do we just turn it off? Like, put something else on?
Go celebrate.
another game.
Watch another game. It's 30 other games tonight. It's plenty of other
Oh, yeah,
games.
I'll
Get
switch
in
it
and
over
get
to the
out.
Raps. I'll switch it over to the Raps in a second.
There you go.
Oh, man.
That was compelling. And I've heard the first half thing as well. I think what Wesky's saying about first half, especially with a team that has the major rest advantage in the spot and doesn't have to travel. Ski, that lets me know Ski thinks that Boston can win this game, and I do too. -1.5 on the money line in a game where I heard Jason Tatum speak after the game yesterday, and he said that they know that they didn't play their best brand of basketball in December, and they look forward to kind of turning the leaf in January, coming into the new year. And I think that they can win the game on the road. When I look at Houston, I think about a team that is really, really good defensively. Second best defense behind only OKC. But offensively, they can struggle. I watched them. The game that Amin Thompson body slammed Tyler Hero a couple games ago, he body slammed them because they couldn't score. I think they were on a 5-minute drought. He got so upset they couldn't score the basketball. He just started body slamming people. And against Boston, you're going to have to be able to put up some points. So with Boston being on the second leg of a back-to-back, it's not the greatest spot. Ski also mentioned 3rd and 4, 4th and 6. But this is a spot where Boston has the much better offense, in my opinion. And if Houston offense dries up, Boston's probably going to win this game. So they also, Porzingis didn't play yesterday. Jaylen Brown didn't play yesterday. If those guys come back, I think that's enough of an advantage.
They also probably coming back, though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I said if, because I didn't bet it yet. I said if they come back, I'll be on Boston. You can get like a 1.5. Like, I know Houston's been good at the crib, but it'd be Boston for me in this spot, especially if they get 2 of their starters back. Also probably wanting to get some revenge against Udoka.
It looks so easy to go take the Celtics just to win, doesn't it?
I mean, wait, hold on. Revenge against Udoka, though. I don't think that, they weren't mad at him. Like, the front office.
They just won a championship.
Yeah, I don't think they're mad at Udoka like that. Like, I mean, he was just, he was doing his thing. I don't think the players were mad at him. Like, I don't think I don't know. I don't work within the Celtics organization. I don't think the players were mad at him. They were probably like, "Damn, coach!" Like, all right, let's move on to the next one. Revenge against him. Like, I don't think they're mad at the guy. If anything, they were like, "Ah, shit, yeah, that happens."
I get it.
That's what I'm saying. All right, Wizards, Pelicans. Do my eyes deceive me, or are the New Orleans Pelicans laying 7.5 points? I've been saying
they're not getting my money.
No, mine nor mine. I've been saying to Chris, been trying to tell him this Pelly's team is swinging around. I mean, I didn't know they were going to be laying 7.5 points, but this Pelly's team turning over a new leaf. That being said, I have respect for myself. I have to sleep at night and look myself in the mirror. I'm not laying 7.5 with the Pelicans, so I'm good.
Somebody told me earlier when I was talking about this game that they said I was disrespecting the Pelicans by whatever I was saying earlier, because they're going to go play hard because of what happened in New Orleans. And I don't know if I'm buying into that. You know, it's terrible what happened. I understand all that, but this Pelicans team has 5 wins. I'm not putting my money out there that they're going to go win by close to double digits. I just can't do it. So I'll pass.
Yeah, that's just a testament to how bad the Wizards are, because we both gave speeches like laying 7 points to the Pelicans. That's laugh out loud funny, and then finished it with like, but I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, I'm not betting the Wizards either. But you guys make a lot of sense. To put the game in perspective, the Pelicans have lost. I think it's like 16 of their last 17 games have the Pelicans lost. And the Wizards have actually won 3 of their last 10. And then all of a sudden they're getting points. So Wizards have been a much better defensive team. I'd only be taking the points with them here. I know it's a couple guys on the injury report. Jose Alvarado's coming back, but it still only be Wizards. I think they can keep it within the number, but I didn't bet it either.
Yeah, I'm good here. Let's switch it over to whatever's next. All right, we got a basketball game here. And just give me active Jalen Brunson, and we make a play on the Knicks here. We don't need points. We take the money line. This is a statement game for New York. Oklahoma City's vulnerable without Chet, without Caruso. This is not the full-strength Oklahoma City Thunder team. Full strength, Oklahoma City probably is the stronger team right now. I'm not going to argue with that. Oh, my God, that's a replay. I thought it's a kickoff return. They're showing a replay. Damn it. Yeah, I want to play the Knicks here, but obviously I need Brunson in there. So that's what the side I want to be on. But I'm not doing it if Jalen Brunson's not going to play. He's listed as questionable. What do you guys think?
I agree that if Brunson is out, it's going to be very hard to, think about ways New York is going to win. I'll talk about the total. I think I really want to know the status of the 2 guards. If they both were in, I don't agree with the total going up. I think that Brunson.
Wait, hold on. You said 2
slower.
You said 2 guards. Oh, you're talking about Brunson and McBride.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought.
Okay. If McBride was out, I would love to try to get to an under. I mean, he's just offense. He's just a bucket. But Brunson, I feel like he'll slow the tempo down and get him playing at that Knicks pace. And both of these teams are capable defensively. So it's one where I got to monitor the injury report before making a decision. But if Brunson is rolled in, I'm looking towards under.
If Brunson plays under. Chris, are you with me on the Knicks?
Yes, Knicks. I want the guys in though. I do want him in. Brunson means a lot. I think he's gonna play. Like, he sit out the game against the Jazz. This is a national TV game. This is the NBA TV game today. And the sharp money started coming in. I saw 6 yesterday. People bet this down to 4.5 without knowing the status of Brunson and McBride. Like, they weren't even like even questionable. So that tells me that people are thinking that they're gonna play. I agree with that. Ski didn't mention this, but one of the worst possible spots you could be on the board is 5th game in 7 nights. I know that Oklahoma City didn't have to travel any. I don't think I bet against OKC all season. Like, it's either been OKC or I'll stay off if the number's too big. But this is the one time I'm really willing to take a chance here. I'm willing to take a chance here. You got OKC that's been playing good, but the Knicks have also won 9 straight. I would argue the Knicks haven't lost since the Cup game against Atlanta. I would argue that both of these teams have been playing like a little bit of a cupcake schedule. But when I look into the matchup, you got the 3rd best offense, which I think absolutely helps the Knicks in this spot, especially if Brunson plays, because OKC is the number 1 defense. But the Knicks are 4th in effective field goal percentage, one of the best efficiency teams in the NBA, because while they do play fast, they make a ton of shots. 4th in effective field goal percentage. They're 4th in free throw rate, which is important because you got an OKC team that's sending teams to the line a ton. Where does OKC like to shoot the ball from? They take so many shots from the mid-range. They're 5th in mid-range frequency, 3rd in accuracy. The Knicks have been the best defense in the league in the mid-range shot. I think, they have the defenders to throw at SGA. Not to say that they're going to stop them, but to slow them down, especially with it being the 5th game in 6 nights. All of those things, I think, make the Knicks live to win the game outright. So plus 4.5 if those guys get rolled in is what I like in this spot. I do think it's a little bit of I know Ski said under. I think it's a little bit of an over just because of all the 3-point shots that we see in today's NBA. Like this like kind of reminds me a little bit of Boston and Minnesota last night, where it's just like 99 3 shot and that game goes up and over the total. I think we see a bunch of 3 shot in this game, and I think both teams can hit from the outside. I don't trust either 3-point defense, not in this spot.
So you're
OKC.
You want to put the belt up against Ski's under?
Nah, because I'm not betting it, but I would lean over a little bit more than under if Jalen Brunson gets rolled in. But my play will be plus 4.5 if Brunson does play. I need McBride in too though.
Someone says Saturated says it's cool that Kyle gives his guests all of his attention. It's bowl season, man. Cut me a break. It's bowl season. All right, next up, Cleveland, Dallas. That's a lot of points. It's a lot of points to be laying. I can't fade the Cavs. That's a touchdown. I can't fade the Cavs on this show anymore because I think people are going to riot. The last one, people were upset about my speech about the Cavs. Did you see the comments after, Chris? Like, people were pissed about that.
No, I didn't, but it makes sense, though. I keep telling you to stay, just take the Cavs and just stay on the sideline. That's what I did last game.
I wasn't shitting on the Cavs. I was just saying at the end of the year, when it comes to playoff time, the Cavs are probably going to be a 3 or 4 seed in the East. And that was offensive to some, apparently. To some Cavs fans that watched. They didn't like that.
RJ Barrett just got ruled out, too, just FYI.
Maybe get a better line. I mean, I think it was already expected he wasn't going to play. But anyway, we have no Luka Doncic. We also are waiting for Maxi Kleber, PJ Washington, both listed as questionable. Still feels like a lot of points to me, but I'm not fading Cleveland because, like I said, the viewers are going to riot if I fade Cleveland again. So just like no, don't put it up on the screen because I don't want a screenshot. Just know that, like, you know what, like I'm on that. I'm just don't put it up. What do you guys think?
You go first this time. I'm trying to get this query, Chris.
All right. I'm just laughing at Cal. Like, I'm not.
They
like,
know.
I'm not taking the team.
They know what side I want to be on, but like, I'm not gonna say it. But like,
I'm with you. If you want them, Gal, you want PJ Washington to absolutely be in this spot. I think I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I know they're winning like less than 20% of their games. Without PJ Washington, and they have a nice hit rate with them in. Last game of the road trip for Cleveland, I kind of want to look towards Dallas as well. Don't put it up for me either. Hard to fade Cleveland right now. I get it, but this is last game of the road trip. Dallas needs a win in the worst possible way. They've lost 3 straight to Portland, to Sacramento, and Houston. I think you get the best effort. It's a ton of points now with this moving from 6, I think, to 7.5, may even be 8 because everybody's just betting Cleveland blindly, it feels like. And they are good. Don't get it twisted, but it's a tad bit too many points to be. I was looking into the numbers this morning. Dallas hasn't been a home dog of 7 points or more since I think it's been like a whole full calendar year. They were playing against OKC like last year on the second leg of a back-to-back, and they were getting like 6, and they still end up covering the game and losing by 5. So you don't see Dallas like getting this many points at all per year. I know Cleveland's been cash, but that's the only way I would look. I would look towards Dallas plus the points as well. I didn't bet it.
Scoop said in the comments, Kyle, you're an idiot. Cleveland's the best NBA team ever. I kind of want to bet the Mavs now. Ski, are you with me? Dallas?
Negative. They haven't. I mean, early in the year, they looked like they knew how to play without Luka. But lately, it hasn't been looking so good. I'm looking at their last 5 games they've played without Luka. They've scored 100 or less 4 out of the 5. And that's concerning because this Cavs team can put the ball in the basket. So it'll be Cavs or pass for me. And I was trying to really get there with over, but the way that the Mavericks offense has been looking lately, it's very hard for me to do it.
Man, this whole road trip though, you got a great win at Denver for Cleveland. After that, you played a busted Golden State team, a busted Lakers team. Are you guys really think Cleveland's the best team in the East? Dead ass?
I think they're playing like it right now.
Yeah, I think so Kyle, you said this the other day on your show. You was like you said something along the lines like Cavs are good, but like they're not gonna be this good in the playoffs. I think that like Kenny Atkinson, I think it's like right in the middle. Like I don't think you're giving them the level of respect that they deserve, but I also don't think like they're the greatest thing since sliced bread either. I would say that they're probably like second or third. It's like them or the Knicks, like in my opinion. Boston's still at the top of the food chain, in my opinion. I do think Kenny Atkinson has unlocked something within this team that JB Bickerstaff was not able to do last year, with them being able to shoot the ball, play a lot faster. And then the other thing that I think that you discredit them for, Kyle, is the injuries that they had last year. Like, remember when they lost to Boston, they still ended up winning one game. Jared Allen didn't play in that series. Donovan Mitchell ended up only playing like the first two games. So the injury bug always seems to be really good to them for the most part in the regular season. Then the playoffs come and they're missing somebody. Darius Garland had his jaw wired up. He was eating through a straw for 4 months last year. So yeah, I think the Cavs are a little bit better. I mean, not better than people think they are, because everybody thinks they're the greatest thing right now. But I think like for the people who are like, yeah, like they're gonna lose, I do think that they legit have a chance this year.
Tell me right
I'm
now,
interested in Ski's thoughts.
7-game series minus 110, Cavs Bucks. Who you take right now?
Man, I'm taking Cavs.
It's Doc Rivers, bro.
Yeah, I'm taking Cavs.
It doesn't matter. Cleveland just doesn't
They
win.
But they got the bodies to throw at Giannis, and we see what the Nets did last night. Like the Nets beat the Bucks yesterday. Like,
yeah,
when
but
you
there's
talk
going
about
to be times.
professionalism,
There's going to be times throughout the year where everyone's losing games to bad teams. That happens. Like,
I understand. I get
Ben
it.
Rivers
Cavs, though.
and Darvin Ham.
Yeah, I'm not putting my money on that team in a 7-game series. Not against a team I think is better. Nah.
all right, fine. Cavs are sweet then. Cavs are the best. We got it, Chris. Cavs are the freaking best.
Hey, Cal, it was D'Lo and Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas. So we replaced them with Garland and Mitchell. Give me.
I want to bet
Cleveland,
Dallas
series.
now because the
No, I want to bet Dallas too. I'm with you. Like I don't.
no.
wanna
You
lay with
love
the Cavs. I didn't lay the
Cleveland.
point.
No, we heard you love
I do.
Cleveland. Just bet Cleveland, Chris. You love them.
I didn't say that. You I don't think you listened to anything I was saying because you've been looking at the bowl game. I said I was with you.
Agreed.
And that's the only way
Chris.
that I would look
I
at
don't
the
pay
game.
attention.
All right, let's
he
move on
got
to the
that
next
shit,
one.
bro.
Just
He'll
know
rewind
that
this
like
back
I'm
and be
probably
like-
gonna bet in the last one. I'm probably gonna bet like, just know. All right, San Antonio, Denver, Nuggets minus 6.5. Seems like a pretty short number here. Pretty much we got teams at full strength, each team missing one piece. Jeremy Sohan out for the Spurs, Aaron Gordon out for the Nuggets. Let me do a refresh because these injury reports update every 5 seconds with new surprises. Either you guys have a bet in this one? Seems like a really short number. Let me check something real quick.
I do not have a bet, but I'm disappointed in myself for not having one because I talked about this game last night with UCapper. And I mean, you just look at the games the Nuggets have been playing. All of them have been 250 plus. I get that the Spurs are a little bit different, but I don't even think it matters. I just think the Nuggets play so fast right now. Their offense is efficient, and they're not playing any defense. It's that simple. And you look at both teams' injury report today, it's defense missing on both sides. So it opened 233.5. It's up to 238.5. I really hate getting the ass into the line, but I think this is an over game.
237.5. So that is a big number.
That's a big number for.
Take a look at the
way-
Nuggets' last 4 games or so.
Yeah, no, it's in the proof is in the pace. You know, they typically say the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pace. Denver is the fifth rated fifth in pace, playing at the fifth fastest pace over the full season, and they're 6th in pace over the last 3 games. So you're right.
Hold on. Aren't you a little worried? Because I'm looking. You said look at Denver's last 4 games, and I'm looking. There's freaking 250 points scored in all these 259. There's a billion points scored in these games. Yes. Those games are against Atlanta, fast-paced, Utah, fast-paced, Pistons, fast-paced, Cleveland, fast-paced. The Spurs don't really fit that description.
So let me go first, guy, because that's where I was going. I was going opposite of Ski. I was saying that they have been playing super fast, but the Spurs are 24th in pace over the last 5 games. So I was already leaning under when I saw this. And then I look at and I like San Antonio in the game, plus 6.5. The line come down from 7.5. I agree with that. San Antonio's covered 7 straight games. I think that they match up pretty well against this team. When I think about Denver, is a team that loves to attack the rims, but that's where they score a lot of these points. Number 1 on the full season in rim accuracy. In rim frequency. Number 3 over the last 5 games. So they shoot a ton of shots at the rim. That's where San Antonio's bread and butter is. Like, it's a little more difficult. Not that, Mike Malone can't figure out a way to pull Wemby outside of the three outside of the paint, but they've been really good at the rim. This is actually the number 4 rim defense as far as accuracy wise for their opponents. So Denver's not a team that shoots a ton of threes. Like, they don't even take a ton of threes. San Antonio does a really good job, like I said, protecting the rim. I think that they can limit Denver in this spot, even though they are playing at the 6th fastest pace. Denver also pretty poor defensively. That, like Ski said, 26th in points allowed per 100 possessions, 22nd in opponents' effective field goal percentage. They also don't force a lot of turnovers. And without Aaron Gordon, I think that they could give up a few more offensive rebounds. Their offensive rebound rate for their opponents has actually come down as well. So I like San Antonio. I think they can keep it close, especially with them covering 7 straight games.
I was looking more based on what you just said. I agree with a lot of it. I'm looking at my spreadsheet while you're talking. I was looking more Nuggets team total under rather than place a bet on.
So
this
was
spread.
I. 222.5. It's actually under their last 6 and 9 home games. So their last 3 home games, they faced Atlanta, Detroit, Cleveland, right? The Atlanta Pistons, obviously, 2 dog shit defenses, also fast and pace. But then before that, Suns 117, Clippers 120, Warriors 119, Knicks 118, Mavericks 120, Mavericks again 122. So they're really getting close to this line, but they're not going over it. Where if you're looking at their road game logs, they are actually going over it. So we know the Nuggets as this elite juggernaut at home, but they're actually going under this line at a pretty high rate as of late. So yeah, that's what I was looking at too in this game. I was going to throw myself on the screen, but I wanted more numbers to look at before I got to it. I was looking at this game last night and to feel like everything that Denver wants to do offensively, the Spurs are pretty good at stopping. So yeah.
I'm in Denver team total under, so I'm on the opposite side of Skis over there on this one. That's not a fun one to put the belt up, though. A team total over, that's boring. We need like an old-fashioned Kings-Lakers battle to put the belt up. Those are the best.
You don't want that one right now, Cal. Not with the way Sacramento.
Man, you don't want it either. Yeah, because shit. You're gonna pretend like shit's sweet with the Lakers right now.
Well, it's sweeter. It's a lot sour over there in Sacramento right now.
Oh,
All right, what's I'm on Denver team total under 122.5. That's what I just bet. All right, next. By the way, Steez is in the comments. He said in capital letters, Chris convinced me I'm taking Wemby 6+ blocks.
He's been killing. I don't know if I even said anything about that, but sure.
You didn't.
They are shooting a lot of shots at the rim. That's what he took away from it. He took away Denver shooting a lot of shots at the rim when we be throwing shit. So
Steez operates in his own plane. You just gotta 6 blocks. Steez likes it. What's next?
I do that all the time, Cal. I listen to you. I listen to your show. I listen to Ski Show. And while y'all talking, I'm formulating my own bets with the way that y'all think about the game. I do that all the time.
Yep. Next up is Memphis, Sacramento. Ugh. I mean, how do you lay with the Kings, right? I mean, I would imagine everyone that has a pulse, everyone that has a FanDuel account, everyone in the world is betting Memphis in this game. I don't see how you lay with the Kings. So I don't have a bet.
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I lay with the Kings.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely not. I don't care who's really playing for the Grizzlies. It's a fate of the Kings. So that's just how I feel. That I said in the beginning of the season, when they added DeMar DeRozan, they got rid of a lot of depth. It's not a good fit. It's just not good energy over there. The Grizzlies always going to play hard, no matter who's on the court. We saw that last year. We've seen it this year. Grizzlies. It's the only way to look.
Yeah, I don't have a bet in the game. If it looks like these guys are going to be ruled in, like Brandon Clark and
they went through shoot around, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
it's a lot of them too. But like Ski said, I don't really care. I bet the plus 4.5 last night when I saw that they were questionable because they just went to Phoenix the other day and won outright. You could beat Phoenix and Phoenix. In my opinion, you could beat Sacramento and Sacramento, especially with the rest advantage here. So Keegan Murray is also doubtful, which hurts their defense a little bit. I think they're giving up about 5 more points per 100 possessions with Keegan Murray off the floor. But Brandon Clark, Zach Edey, and LaRavia all listed as questionable. I think they went through shoot around. You got a Memphis team just going through the ATS stuff, because they have been like a pretty professional team. 23-11 against the number, 10-6 against the spread on the road, 7-3 as a dog, 13-9 coming off a win. Sacramento is 11-21, a league worst 5-13 against the spread at home, 8-16 against the spread as a favorite. They're 0-7 when they have the rest disadvantage, and 8-16 against the conference, 4-9 when they're coming off a win. So yeah, I bet Memphis last night at +4.5. Love to see the number coming down. Hopefully CLV means something in this one.
It's down to 2.5 now. The only way I would bet this game is if those guys were ruled in, Brandon Clark, Laravia, and I could get a Sacramento +2.5 or something at the very end. Like play the, but I wouldn't even be confident in it. I would just be playing the dramatic line movement at that point. Wouldn't even be a bet on the Kings. But no, I'm not. I'm good here.
You didn't look into the under, Cal? I know last time these two teams just played like 3-4 weeks ago, and you liked under. We both liked under. We thought we were crazy, and it actually hit. It was like 238.5. And it went under. This total is a little bit higher now, I think.
Well, the Kings are good at keeping keeping their opponents from getting out of transition. So maybe an under. Let's go on to the next one. Hawks, Lakers. Prop Beaver's back on the screen.
Yeah, I had an aneurysm yesterday about AD being ruled out.
In the bet
no
won.
reason.
It's okay, bro.
It's okay,
bro.
It's okay, Prop Beaver.
Y'all don't understand, bro. Y'all don't understand the past month of betting.
thought he had
what
a
it's
losing
done to
ticket,
me. Y'all don't fucking understand, okay? And then this man, Austin Reeves, said, "Listen, I got you. It's okay.
Calm down,
He
bro.
said,
Calm down. I
he
got
said
you
it's
at
free as
halftime.
air. He said it's free as air. I did bet Austin Reeves again, but unfortunately, guys, I mean that was nuked to a different planet. It's not even available anymore at the same line. Yesterday it was 6.5 at +125 in the morning. Today it was in the morning. It was 7.5 +110. Now it's 7.5 -160. I'm not gonna give it to you guys at 8.5 +110. I feel like that's just like a completely different ball game in terms of value. So pass.
So you're on Austin Reeves 6.5.
I'm on Austin Reeves 7.5, but once we're getting to 8.5, it's like, all right, now we're at the same odds that I gave it to earlier in the day. It's like, all right, it's like almost disrespectful. So pass.
So I mean, we got Trae Young questionable, Jalen Johnson questionable, and as you guys know, I recently got screwed by a Jalen Johnson injury update before the game. I took the Hawks against the Nuggets. I really liked it too. I thought it was a good bet. He ended up not playing. Kind of don't know what to do with the Hawks right now. The success they were having earlier in the season, they were rebounding well. They were scoring at the rim efficiently, playing some defense on the interior as well. I thought getting a Okonkwo back would start to like tilt them towards that, but not really seeing it. And in fact, I'm starting to see some tendencies of the old shitty Hawks that never cover. They're taking a lot of 3-point shots. It's just, I don't know. I don't know where I stand on this game. I don't have a bet, but I'm all ears if you guys want to pitch me on something.
Well, you should have woke up and bet Austin Reeves.
Yeah, truly.
I mean, that's, I don't even know. I don't even know what else I should say. So 8.5, I'll say like this. Prop Beaver, I think 8.5 is still an okay number. If
Probably
I woke
has some
up in this
value,
line,
but for like a half unit maybe, right? Like, I don't know if that's still like a full unit play. Like, because then it goes from like the hit rate of like, I think what I'm looking at it is I'm looking at the potential assists, right? Because I think with LeBron on the court and with like, I think around 13 potential assists, his hit rate is about like 62%, which is like, okay. I mean, I would probably play that for a full unit. That was at the 7.5 number, by the way, right? So I think when you take that to the 8.5, that only goes to about, I think his hit rate's at like 45% at about +110. I think that's only, in my eyes, about a half unit. Now, you have to take into account, this dude, the last 3 games, I mean, he's making it look easy. I mean, 10, 10, 11, the last 3 games with LeBron on the court. AD wasn't even on the court yesterday. And this matchup's a smash spot. I mean, Hawks second in pace. They don't defend the rim. So if you wanted to take the 10 plus and say, fuck the 8.5 at +110, I don't really mind that. If anything, I say take that route. But just me personally, I don't feel like it's worth taking the same line that you could have got. You know how you say you don't like taking the ass end of a line? I feel like it's the same thing with this.
I get it. All I'll say is, without D'Lo this season, he's at 10 plus every game. Last season, he averaged 8.5 without D'Lo. So it's just kind of asking him to get where he's already been.
All right,
and he's still going to have the same responsibilities. It's not a whole lot of other playmakers out there on the floor. And I mean, LeBron on a back-to-back, I don't know how much he's going to have in the tank. I think a lot is still going to fall on Austin Reeves today. He'll play a lot of minutes again, and I think we'll get to 10 again. I only bet 7.5, but I can't talk anybody off if they still want to join later.
All right. Well, that's the last game. No community parlay because I have a few things to get done tonight. But you guys, you want to tell them where the Ski, want to tell them where they can find, I'm sure they already know, but if for those that don't know, where they can find Ski stuff.
Yeah. We're making a parlay. You can find me at Ski Profit, man. Wherever, Twitter, YouTube, wherever. Appreciate you having me.
Oh shit! The song's spreading, bro. It's a smash. It's a smash.
It is a smash hit.
Smash hit
I
single.
always sing it when I'm listening to it too. Whenever it's played on the show, yeah, that's my jam. Say stuff. Ski said just different handles. Crispy Cap and 2 P's 2 N's. YouTube. I do a show in the morning, and then all my work is over on Twitter or X as well. Appreciate you for having me on, Kyle. Best of luck tonight, fellas.
Yeah, if you like this community, like the names you see in these comments, you'll see a lot of these same names watching Chris's show in the morning and Ski's show in the afternoon. It's a lot of the similar community. So if you like the vibes here, it's the same kind of thing. If you like, if you're looking for content at different hours of the day. So guys, thanks for joining. Let's have ourselves a good Friday night and a good weekend. I'm on, it looks like my winning streak in college football is coming to an end here. Still a lot of time, but Texas State not looking like the right side. Knew it too. I didn't like either of these games, just did some gambling. But all right, everyone, bet responsibly tonight. Hit me up in the Discord if you need me. Later.